you know why you're here, Elephant? You're here for a CSS battle. I have your friend Froggy. Do you want to share the same fate?
Oh, but I am an elephant!
Now just do as I say. And dance!
Elephant, do! Crikeys, mate. It looks like we got CSS Battle 71. Elephant right on our hands. Let's dig right into it, shall we? Oh my goodness. He's putting a background on every single element on the page. And not only that, he's doing position fixed on every single element on the page. This guy is bonkers. I don't know what he's doing. Look at that code. It's just absolutely bonkers. He's even making his own markup for these flippity flappers. Crazy, I say. We specified our Fruity Loops flaps, little ear things going on here. Another trick I picked up is you can just use padding to specify like the dimensions of your element. Oh yeah, okay. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so 25 pixels, that means it's gonna be 50 pixels wide, 50 pixels tall. That's the same as writing height 50 pixels, width 50 pixels. And you see how it kind of grew here? That's because the box sizing, yeah, is set to content box. And with content box, padding is treated like a border and it sort of grows that element. Let's take advantage of that. So boom, delete that. Now we got 50 pixels height, 50 pixels width, closer to where we want. Oh, definitely off. Let me start specifying some dimensions. Okay, looks like our y-axis is all set up correctly. Our x-axis is a little bit off, so we'll offset it by another 10 pixels. Ooh, okay, I'm loving it. Whoa, okay, that lined up pretty well. Nice. Next one, what are we doing? The width is too wide, but I like this height, so I'm going to do some padding shorthand, which is if you specify two values, it's doing the top and the bottom padding, and then the right and left padding, whichever way you want to think about it. If I specified 4 values, it would be top right, bottom left. And our width is too wide, so let's start cutting it down. I think that's close, so let's put on some border radius. Thank you, Toronto Tom. I love it so much. Now we got our little ear Fruity Loop flap. Nice. And an easy way to do that sort of cut in the cartilage or curve, whatever you want to call it, is to use inset. If we didn't specify inset, it would just grow outside of this box shadow. No. We want it to be inside that sucker. So I'm going to give it a 10 pixel inset and highlight it so you know exactly where that inset's showing up. If I specified a negative value, boom, other side. Oh, but we want it over there. And it's just like medium mossy depressing elephant color. So we'll copy that. And it's definitely not thin. Boom. Thank you CSS Battle for doing multiples of 5. It's very delightful. If you don't, I'd be very sad. Now I want to show you guys a trick. I did this in my second video, Karam. And it's WebKit Box Reflect. If you specify above, right, below, or left, it'll reflect on that axis. So I want to specify right. I want that sucker to go all the way over to the other side. Boom, boom. And you can specify an offset. I didn't know this at first, but you can say 20 pixels from the right, 20 pixels from above, 20 pixels from below. But we got to go way further. Okay, maybe not that far. And that's just 120? Nope. 140? I think it's 1 pixel off. CSS Battle. That's kind of evil. We got our Fruity Loops flap and we reflected it. So now we have 2 of them. We can move on to the face. So we'll call it a fafa. Let's call the face the fafa. And with our fafa, it's going to be a big shape. So it's definitely smaller than 180 pixels, which we got from the padding on 90 pixels. So I'd give it 80. And that's weird. It's covering up our ear. Well, that's because everything has this sort of neon moss color. Nah. We want this depressed elephant color. Let's bring it out. Boom. And I really, really like the centering method. Left 50%, top 50. And then transform, translate, negative 50%, negative 50%. But that's a lot of characters. I would save some characters if I just specified a hard value. Maybe not the best, but yeah, you know. Less characters is the name of the game, am I right? Where's that sucker? Oh. Okay, that looks about it. Is it the right y-axis? I think it is. Yeah. Okay. Let's move over that border radius, the border radius. Thank you, Toronto Time. Kind of looks like a thing of gum. We got the face. Now let's move on to the eyes. Make this a little bit easier to read. A. We'll move on to the A. Now, if I was using position absolute, this eye would be like right inside of my face, and that would really help, but that's okay. We'll try to position it over top of the place where we need it. Whoa. It behaved like position absolute. That's interesting. You learn something every day. Now if I specify left 0, yeah, that's what I thought. It'd be at the edge of the window. I ain't no sucker. Oh. The left edge is in the center, so if I use margin left, negative 50, it gets me centered. Nice. And it does that because the face doesn't have a height or a width, it just has padding. So it's kind of like a faux height and width. Possibly save some characters on that. Margin, left, top. Nah, maybe not. But now that we have our eyes set up, and actually they're in the right. Wow, that's trippy. They're in the right place too. We can use my favorite method ever, the radial gradient. I love radial gradient. I love me some radial gradient. And we want this dark duty elephant color. And how big is it? I don't know. You tell me, YouTube.
Hey, what the heck are you doing? I thought you were watching a CSS Battle video. Get out of here.
And 000 is a transparent color. We wanted to stop right where we left off. And you see how it defaulted to an ellipse? That's because I didn't specify circle. And I didn't specify the position either. I want it to be right at the top, which is weird, right? Usually you'd say circle at center and then maybe you'd cut it off to get that sort of half circle effect, but nah. You can just do top. You can do bottom. Get the same effect. I did that before where I used clip path. I believe I actually used linear gradient to like wipe it out too. Yeah. Now that we have that color defined, let's keep going with it. So this neon moss color is going on forever and ever and ever. We gotta stop it. It's gonna go out of control. Now we got our eye, but it's not duplicated. Why? Well, you can specify an X position and a Y position for your background size. It's the shorthand for background. Background position. And then / background size. So I want our background size to be, I think we created an eye that's 40 pixels wide. So let's start with that. Cool. Okay. And if we keep going with it, what's it going to do? Instead of increasing the size of the circle, it sort of just creates space. I've already defined the circle. It's just defining the space in which that circle is working in. That was a terrible explanation, YouTube. Oh my goodness. But if I keep adjusting these values to get the right sort of spacing, if I specify 10, they'd all get up into each other like this. You'd be like, oh, no, please don't. Why not? I'm going to specify 60. I think that's the spacing we want, but the position is way off. I'm going to specify -10. And it looks like we got right on the money. That's right on the money. Now that we got that bad boy set up, let's move on to the Tusk. Yeah, let's do that Tusk. And, you can specify any kind of element you want. I'm just saying TUEY because it helps me remember what the heck I'm trying to talk about. For the sake of the CSS battle, do your thing. So now that we got that Tusk defined, let's style it. Let's give it some love. And you know what I'm going to say. Radio gradient. Banana. I'm going to do border for you. Well, yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like the padding trick. You're giving it 10 pixels all around a white border. But we want some space. Give it some room to breathe. So we're still going to put padding. And we'll keep going with it until we get something that looks close. And of course, the famous border radius, 50%. We have a circle, and well, we know that it's 80 pixels wide. So what we can do, now that it's centered, the left edge is like flush along the center line, we can just do margin left 40 pixels. And now that we have to consider the border as well. So I believe it would be 50. Yeah, that's centered. Kind of looks like he has a pinky. I don't know if anyone has seen Hitman Reborn, but that's a Hitman Reborn moment. Now that we got that defined, we gotta bump it down a little bit. It's getting out of control. Ooh. But if I specify top 0, do you think it's going to be top within the parent or top within the window? It's the window. It's vision fixed. It's kind of goofy that automatically it sort of assumes a position absolute position, but that's cool with me. I could actually do margin top, but it would likely be less characters if I used top. Now we're getting close to where this Tusk starts. Oh, 190? Yeah. But like, dang, it's not big enough. So let's maybe make that sucker 50 and 60. Oh, yes. Okay. And it looks like the border is, well, half the size. And then since we added border on top, we have to also subtract for our centering as well. Ooh. Because we added border, it also changes that. Oh, goodness, oh gosh, oh golly. Oh yeah. Okay, the other trick is setting a border color on certain sides. We don't want the bottom or the right to show up because that'll give us that cutoff effect. I'm going to specify transparent. And an even cheaper method or cheaper character count would be 000. And now that we've nuked that, let's nuke the right hand side too. That's not what we want. It's kind of weird. And just so you know what it would look like if I took off border radius, it has that hard edge. It's kind of weird. That's cool, right? And the way to move it is you can use transform rotate. Boom, we got some tusks. And the weird thing you can see is that it's knocking out the background of our face. So we gotta nuke that. Nuke all the way around. Oh. Kind of looks like Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa. Oh, shucks. Is he moving? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's continue on with the frunk. Is it a frunk? Is it a frunk? It's a frunk. It's a front trunk. So it's a frunk. It's a fur. It's a fur. Let's put that fur in there. Oh. For the fur, I can specify bottom 0. And I believe, yeah, it would hook to the bottom of the window. And since I've been doing padding this whole time, might as well do the other method as well, just so you get an idea of other ways to achieve the same result. He got a dog. That's a dog background. Looks like a depressing elephant. How do I do that? Yeah, so it's the same thing is happening. It's flush with the left-hand side of the parent container, which is this face. And to nuke that, we just margin left the width of the element, which is 20. And it looks like my height's a little bit off. So I'm gonna be bumping it up. That's too easy. And border radius. What would it be? 50? Be a hard value, for sure. So border radius, you have your shorthand. You could do top left, top right, bottom left. Yeah, I think we got our elephant. Yeah, nice, I like him. I hope you like this video. Check back next week for a weekly CSS battle video. If you want to talk about anything, Monster Hunter, CSS, K-pop, you want to do a collab, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. See ya.